Hello everyone, just a slight disclaimer as always before watching this video. This video is based off the Murder Drone series, concept art, and a handful of tweets, so the majority of this is just pure speculation, so take this video with a grain of salt. And if you want to help support my channel, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you! The Absoute Solver is a very interesting mystery, and while we have an idea of what it can do, we don't know of its actual origin or its demeanor. In my last video, I covered what it is, where it possibly originated from, and why it was forced into quote-unquote extinction. Today, we look at the Absoute Solver's goal. What is it planning? What it wants? And how is Tessa involved in it? Join me, ladies and gentlemen, as I explain Sin's master plan. I do highly recommend you watch my last video on the Absoute Solver, but for those of you who don't remember, we cover the Absoute Solver's abilities, side effects, possible exaggerated origin, and how corporate greed destroyed humanity. Great, now that you're all caught up, now let's get back to Sin. I won't be covering Sin extensively in this video, because she already has a dedicated video on the channel. To recap, Sin was one of the many carriers of the Absoute Solver program that awakened due to improper dismemberment. Unlike those who came before her, she was the only one who fully developed the Absoute Solver and was the one responsible for destroying Earth. She would also develop the murder drones to make more carriers of the Absoute Solver. But why? Something that I think we can all agree on is that one of the Absoute Solver's goals was to kill all humans.
Just can't wait to murder all humans. Classic robot stuff. I hope they're sitting pretty there on Earth, because we're coming for them.
Of course, for Uzi, she joined the party a bit too late. Sin had already destroyed the Earth, causing a black hole to form that destroyed the Earth's core, but weirdly enough is also holding on to chunks of the Earth. As I've been exaggerating for a while now, I believe that J.C. Jensen destroyed the Solver's homeworld. And while I believe that the Absoute Solver wasn't necessarily evil to begin with, it appears as though it has a change of mind. And I think we can pinpoint what exactly drove it to destroy our world. As we know, Sin was adopted by Tessa, which could have possibly aided in her development of the Absoute Solver. However, as we know, Tessa had horrible parents, who treated the worker drones like disposable slaves, and even their child as an over-glorified drone. Yeah, not exactly a shining example of humanity, let alone from this line made by Jay,
Jay, industrial machinery, chuck us a hand!
Sorry, boss. Corporate's spoken.
We can assume that Tessa's parents are higher-ups at J.C. Jensen, all the more reason to hate them. So we can establish that after infiltrating the humans, the Absoute Solver saw them as a horrible species and kinda decided that they needed to go. Mostly. Honestly, who could blame it? If I had put up with these rich jerks, I'd possibly go on a rampage myself. So, we know this. But what else is the Absoute Solver planning? Well, this brings us to the present day. I'd usually recommend at the beginning of each of my videos to take these videos with a grain of salt, but for this section, take this theory with a pound of salt. We know that Sin sent the murder drones to not just Copper-9, but other planetary systems to create more carriers of the Absoute Solver, and from what we know via episode 6...
Step 1. Clear drop zone of life and construct spire. Step 2.
Enter labs with this symbol. Not too much to go off, but if Sin wants these labs, we burn them down.
Murder drones building these corpse spires has some importance. The two main beliefs right now are that either these corpse spires are used to make more Absoute Solver carriers, or that they're drone graveyard substitutes to make another black hole. But for the sake of this theory, I will be sticking with belief 1. Though I do believe I will be covering belief 2 in the far future. I have been exaggerating this moment from episode 4 as the basis of these past two theories. The fact that that the Absoute Solver carriers can make these things is interesting, and we have seen more examples of these fleshy parasites, but they usually turn into gray slop after some time, most likely because of the cold or the fact that they aren't in oil. And for the past while now, I've said that the invasive alien species went extinct, but what if there's a way to bring them back? I am assuming that Sin is creating all these carriers of the Absoute Solver to revive the Solver species and bring them back out of extinction. Why would the Absoute Solver carriers be able to make these creatures in the first place? After all, the combined group effort of an entire population of worker drones would make this task a lot more plausible. But I don't just think that the Absoute Solver is going to bring back its species, but also the humans in the form of everyone's favorite human, Tessa. Recently, a theory has been going around that Tessa is being controlled by Sin, or that Sin is cosplaying as Tessa to get into Cabin Fever Labs. And here's my honest opinion.
You idiot. You dummy. You dumb ball. Dumb bag. Dumb schmuck. Dumby bumby bum pump. You bump.
I can see why people would come to this conclusion. Cabin Fever Labs plays a huge role in Sin's master plan, and something or someone has been preventing this step from being completed. But that's a discussion for another day. The biggest support for this claim is how Tessa and Sin's movements and actions are similar. However, I feel as though this is less Tessa is actually Sin, and more Sin is trying to become Tessa. From early teasers for episode 5, we see this picture of Tessa and Sin. This could indicate that Sin at one point was Tessa's favorite, though the thought of Sin imprinting off of Tessa or trying to become Tessa has always been present. From the iconic bow to the movements and even Sin pursuing N as a love interest, it does feel as though Sin has always been obsessed with Tessa, something that freaked her parents out.
Oh, Christ almighty! I said this one out of my sight!
The idea that Sin has been trying to make backups of Tessa is also something that is likely true, especially when we take this scene into account from episode 4. Notice any similarities? This must make you wonder, has Tessa ever been cloned? Is this the original Tessa? And if N were to walk in a bunch of Tessas, how would they react? So this is definitely one of my more extensive presumptive theories that I am more or less sure is going to be incorrect. Also, for this week's secret word, would a group of Tessas be called Tessas or Tessai? Also, because my last theory was late, I will be repeating these shoutouts in my next video, which hopefully should come out next week. Shout out to Cliff Robotnik, The Haunting in the comments, and Poncho885. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. Thank you!